Hello, Deborah. I am so excited to be here with you. We're going to talk about our beautiful trip that we're planning for everyone for Bali.
Yes, that's right. Woo.
So you were able to go and travel there in May,
Yes.
and I'd love for you to share some of the highlights. What was your very favorite thing of your trip? How long were you there for first?
You know what, to be honest with you, I can't remember right now how long.
Yeah, but I think it was like it seemed like it was,
Yeah.
a couple of
It
weeks.
was for my
Yeah.
birthday, and I went with my daughter Victoria
Yeah.
to check it out, because I wanted to do a retreat, but I like to check things out. And I
Mhm.
found the perfect spot. And so I did a few things that I thought would be, we could do on the retreat. So it's a really tough question to ask what was my most favorite things, because there were a lot.
Yeah.
Because every day when I did something, I thought, oh, this one is it. And then I did another thing. It's like, oh, this one is it, right? But for sure, one of the highlights, I have to say, was definitely the water ceremony. So I didn't know what to expect. And there were two I could choose from. And I chose one that came very highly recommended. And I went there. And first of all, you kind of have to change out of your clothes because they give you a type of a robe thing that you go into the water with, and you have to go in and say some prayers before you can actually go into the water. And so there's like a ceremony where you're giving some gift. It can be flowers or anything like that. So that was guided. We were helped with that, and to be honest with you, when I think back to it, again, I think when you bring yourself into the place of awareness of who you are and what you are doing, that can be, even if you're cooking a meal or sweeping the floor, when you become very present, there's a higher meaning to things. And I think in this moment, the ritual of changing your clothes and putting on a particular robe and then having to do the flowers as an offering, I think all these things help you to prepare you to be more present. Mm-hmm. It's like you're going to do something wonderful and you're going to do something for the first time. In reality, life is always doing this. It's always wonderful and it's always first time, but we are not present. So we miss it.
Right.
So I have to bring attention to that. So just knowing that it's really not in a place or in a thing that you're doing, but it's in you. But when you go to a place, for example, like in Bali, where people live with a lot of reverence, it helps you to come to that place, So, so the water ceremony was for me very meaningful. And it's also a way of letting go of things that don't serve you anymore. It's just an opportunity for you to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the water. Yeah, the water itself they call it holy water because it comes from deep under the earth. So it's pure.
Oh, sounds beautiful. So it just gave me an idea that we could do at the retreat before we go to the water ceremony, is to have a session where we're journaling about what it is that we want to release and then also what we want to bring in. Because 2020, we're already in the energy of 2020 where we are releasing and forgiving and all of that's going on already. Yes. And so by the time we get to Bali, to be able to just have a journaling session about that, so that people when we go do that experience, they'll be even more present to what it is instead. Because I know that for me, if I hadn't given it any thought and then I'm wanting to release something, yes, it can be very spontaneous. But if I actually have time to be able to consider it of what is most meaningful for me to release and then bring in that moment, I think that might be really powerful.
Yeah. And again, like you just said, again, when you bring yourself to the moment to actually be present, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
The magic, it's not so much in the thing that you do, but it's in bringing the awareness of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you have the time, you take the time to write that out. I honestly believe that in the moment when you're writing it out, it's already happened.
Oh, yes.
Because you are the most powerful person in your life. And so every day we ask for things, and some of those things we're asking unconsciously, and the universe keeps giving them to us though. So, if you're in your life and you're having situations brought into your life that you don't like, you have to a little bit become more aware of what you are creating. Mm-hmm. Slow down a little bit, like, why am I having these thoughts? Why am I having these patterns and so on? And so, doing that is definitely going to help you to have I would say, a larger experience of that, preparing for it.
Yeah. I am super excited to be.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of the things that stood out for me. And of course, we're also planning to do the fire ceremony. So fire is also very, again, like for me, fire represents burning up things that don't serve us anymore. Fire doesn't have to necessarily be bad, because when something is burned down, I mean, I think many of us have heard the expression about the phoenix rising up from the ashes. Life is like that, like sometimes we have to burn to the ground so that we can sprout up new. When I was growing up in South Africa, I used to see always grass, they actually burn the grass to the ground so that they can come up fresh, new. And I used to look at that, and as you go on in your life and sometimes you have those burning down moments or situations, and you just realize, don't worry, something greener is going to come up.
Yeah.
So the fire represents like just burning out the old that doesn't serve us anymore, so that we can, everything is about creating space. Like the whole universe is about space.
Yeah.
Like if you look at your body, if you really take your whole body apart, you're going to find space. In between each and every vertebrae in your spine is space. We do yoga, so we elongate and we create more space so that you can actually see who you are.
Yeah, and there's space around each cell, and we have 50 trillion cells in our body, right? So there's space.
So we're all actually really just space. Yeah. And that's why when we sit in meditation and when we sit with awareness of ourselves, then we can connect to that space. We can connect to that stillness. We can actually, I call it like being able to hear the voice of God. And people can interpret that however they would like, because that's also just being connected to yourself, to the God consciousness, to the awareness. But when you're sitting in stillness, you can hear the voice of God. When the mind is so busy, we can't hear the voice of God. And that's why we keep making all these, decisions that sometimes don't serve us too well, because we can't hear. The mind is keep going, taking us in different directions.
Right. And, as many people say, we just keep creating yesterday, today. Right. And so we want to be able to have these new experiences.
Exactly. And that's also another thing that when people are considering to come on this retreat with us, it's another thing that you have to understand is when you have a break from your normal day-to-day routine life, it kind of gives you a wake-up call, taking that moment out of your day-to-day routine, your humdrum of life, and then coming into this beautiful place that we selected, Bali, Ubud, Bali, and where you're going to have time to just be. So you can take that with you into your life, because life will be new when you come back. Guaranteed. Life is new every day, but we don't know it.
Yeah, we just wake up with just doing the same thing.
Exactly. So coming to Bali is really going to help you to create that in your everyday life after. And then also coming with people, hanging out with us. So, you're with people that's how we live. Yeah. So, after some time, you start to think like that and you start to experience life new every moment.
Yeah. And that's why we called it the heart-centered retreat, because everybody who is coming with us are all heart-centered people who want to open up their heart even more to allow more love, consciousness to come in. Yeah,
exactly. So it's going to be a very beautiful experience. So if you're really thinking about it, if you're sitting on the edge or you're worried about where am I going to find the time, I'm going to get away from my family, where am I going to get the money from, like just stop. Just stop all that and say yes to yourself. The moment you decide, the moment you say yes, the moment you trust, you have some faith, things are going to come up. I think I've said this before in some other talks that we've had. In all the years, like all the 20 odd years since I started meditating and doing yoga, I've been on several yoga retreats in my life. Like in the beginning, like the first couple of years, I used to go like 3-4 times a year. And I can honestly tell you that if I had always waited for the time and the money for the conditions to be all there, I would have never done anything. So you just decide you want to come. You just take that step forward and the universe is going to support you, because the life is happening for you. Life is not happening against you. And I think the biggest thing for a lot of us is that we don't feel that we deserve it.
Mhm.
You feel undeserving of such a beautiful experience. But think about it, without you, nothing exists. You give meaning and life to everything. So just get that out of your head and say yes to yourself. And in a way, like challenge the universe and say, well, I want to go and I'm going to go. And you have to make it happen.
Yep.
And
Show me how this is going to happen.
exactly. And I guarantee, if it's really in your heart of hearts to come with us,
it will.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've both had that same experience for a long time where we've said yes to ourselves. And the more we say yes, the more things show up too. There's more things to say yes to, until you get to a place where you look at your life and you go, oh, my life is extraordinary.
Yes.
Because we've said yes.
And because everybody's life is extraordinary. And again, you know, going to a different place like Bali or anywhere else doesn't mean, you know, you have to be so special. No, it's just another thing that you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're here in Kelowna, whether you're in Bali, it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to bring yourself. The only opportunity you have when you come with us to Bali is that you're going to have a lot of time to bring awareness to yourself. Mm-hmm. Because once you have the time to bring awareness to yourself, you can start to see and notice, what can I change? What in my behavior and my thinking process is holding me back, you know, from living this life that is meant for me? That's all. But you can do that anywhere. It's just easier when you are in a different place where you have so much support. And like I said with Bali, when I was there, I felt so loved, you know, by not just the people, but by the, you know, the whole earth.
Yeah.
Like the rice paddies, the fruits, and everything is in abundance there because there's so much reverence there for Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel so blessed to be on this journey and to be able to have these experiences with you and with other people, and for other people to have these experiences. You know, it's a brand new day. And when you can show up somewhere new that is inviting you to just really have that awareness about yourself and have the awareness that you created this, right? We all co-created this together.
Yeah. And when you do it once, you'll see that you can do it again and again and again. You have to step out of that place of fear and not believing, and just for one moment have a little bit of faith. Yeah. And I think Jesus said it. I love to quote Jesus. He was an amazing guy. He had lots of wisdom. He said, even if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you will enter the kingdom of God. Mm-hmm. And it's like that. Have faith as small as a mustard seed in yourself, and put your step forward and commit yourself, and the rest will come. There's still 4 months left. Money will come, time will come, family will be okay, because when you're okay, everybody's okay around you. When you take care of you, people are good around you, because whatever you do affects people around you.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this in one of our other conversations. It might not have been on a live show, but that you talked about how we give to everyone else, and then there's nothing left for us. But when we actually are able to say, yes, I deserve this, and I'm saying yes, then everyone around us benefits.
Yeah, especially mothers. I think the conversation we were having was about mothers. Because again, you know, people say, oh, I can't leave my kids. You'll be amazed. Your kids are more resilient than you can ever imagine. And if you take care of you, your kids will be happier. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you come home renewed, refreshed, with more love in your heart. Whatever you do to yourself, only to that extent can you do to others. Mm-hmm. So how much love and acceptance and all that stuff you give to you, that's how much more you can give it to children even, you know? So yeah, if something is holding you back, just try it. Have that little bit of faith and trust in this process called life. Life is always going to support you. It always has. If you think on it, it always has, and it always will. So just take that step and you know, do something for you, and wait for the magic, wait for the miracles. I mean, like honestly, when I started going to retreats and stuff, it was like magic. Like the only thing that's required is I have to make up my mind that I want to go. Yeah. And then once from that place, everything will start to align and fall into place. And miraculously, somebody will, even if it's in-laws that will come stay with the kids. And you know what? And even if like you start saving now and you pay half of it now and you pay half of it later, something happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Right?
it really is magical.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I'm like to inspire people to, you know, a little bit go beyond their fears and beyond their limitations, because that's all it is. It's just stuff that you're making up.
Mhm.
And if you're going to make up stuff, why don't you just make up good stuff?
Make up the good stuff. Absolutely.
You're making it all up anyway. I mean, we're making everything up. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
Everything is made up.
Yeah.
You're making it all up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's a line. How do you make a dream come true? You create it, right? You make it up.
Yes. And there are many, many people on the planet that's living their dream and that's living the life that they want to live. And what's different, you know, about you? There's nothing different. The only difference I think with people is some people know that they can and other people doubt that they can.
Yeah.
So don't be a doubter, be a knower.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I love having these conversations with you, and I am so looking forward to getting to spend some
time,
amazing time together. Yeah.
Exactly. And come to Bali, people. Enjoy it with us. You will not, I guarantee it, you will not regret it.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the best things ever.
Yeah.
A group of heart-centered people, you know, coming together is actually, to be honest with you, that's like 50% of the, you know, just the juice, the good stuff that you're getting is being with these people.
Yeah.
You know, getting to know different people, and then also understanding that we're all the same. Everybody's different. We all have the same issues. We all go through the same stuff, and we all support each other. Yeah. And help each other to live the best life. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Deborah. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.